We need to educate more people. That's the key. You know, we got to educate them. You know, seriously, in this country, we're all conservatives. We all really want good values. We all want to have good families. We all want to have a wife, a husband, you know what I mean, a good job, if you will. We all want to go to church, but in all due respect, we've gotten away from it. You know, this media stuff is just crazy.
The media, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So
it's like throwing more negatives out. It's as if to say, if you don't say something negative, you have nothing to say.
Right.
It don't sell.
There's two voices we hear. That, you know, the media is one, the churches had to be the other, and they got away from politics. Cared more about the 501c3, believed that it wasn't important. You know, I mean, millions of abortions. And, you know, I also want to add, you know, and say this, because I know there's a lot of women that have had abortions, and because we're talking about this a lot, you know, God forgives abortions. It's not, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad whatsoever. I mean, there's total forgiveness, but to have a culture that embraces it, that's the biggest issue. So, Congressman,
in our area, you've got Earl Blumenauer running. He's the incumbent, and you got a gentleman, a Republican who's running, James
Broussard, is that?
Broussard, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, James is a pretty, as far as I'm concerned, he's a pretty solid guy. I've interviewed him on a number of occasions. I've invited Earl on, and he hasn't. Earl has taken the position that he's pushing the marijuana thing. He's pushing the marijuana thing,
which is a ballot measure that's coming up.
Which is a ballot measure that's coming up. And then you asked the question. You know, it is an issue. That's another issue about the marijuana thing. I am not, you know, again, in that same area, if you're anti-marijuana, you're nobody.
In that area?
In that area, in this area, okay? You just have to educate the people about the impact that marijuana. For instance, I've talked to a number of small businesses. Bruce, in all due respect, they're stoned. I mean, they just can't produce. They're not producing on the job, if you will.
People who get stoned.
The people who get stoned, and that's a fact, you know. And it is a fact. You know what I mean? But the key is that, guess what? The media doesn't spend the time educating the public. About that point.
They're just going to ignore that.
No.
And the real problem.
No, they're saying it's the greatest thing going. I mean, you know, it's the greatest thing going. And then, you know, then they put Earl out there, who's the incumbent, okay, the incumbent. And here he is, as far as I'm concerned, he's blowing a joint himself. I don't know if you've seen his commercials. He looked like a Don. I mean, he looked like a Don, like he's just gotten paid, you know, like he's just gotten paid because he's put I'm serious. You ought to see his ad. I swear. And then he goes out and starts talking about this marijuana thing. Then they have to say, well, have you ever smoked a joint? You know, they've asked Obama. Obama's position was, well, what are you supposed to do with it? You know what I'm saying? But Earl doesn't do it that way.
How does
His thing is that, well, we want to make sure we get the taxes. We want to get the money.
Yeah.
But
and it's
he's
going to
the one
cost.
that really smoked the joint.
And here's a real life situation. It's going to cost money because I know people who they go out and they get their free marijuana, taxpayer expense, because their back hurts. You know, even if their back didn't hurt before, it hurts now, or they can't sleep. You know, so anybody. I don't want to promote this, but anybody can find an excuse to go get their free marijuana, and then a lot of these people then they go and then they sell it for their meth.
Yeah, well, the economy.
So taxpayers not only bought their marijuana, we're also paying for their meth indirectly by, you know, raising their children through the foster care system, and that causes a lot of destruction in society. And then jailing them, putting them in jail. You know, so do all people who smoke pot do that? Well, no, of course not. But
no, they don't.
It's going to create more and more, you know, problems on society. So. Society's going to get worse, not better.
Unemployment is high in the metro area. A lot of folks don't. They just want to sit down.
High.
It's
there's a double use on the word high.
Big time. People don't work anymore. A lot of people trying to move out. They're basically trying to figure out, I got to go out and live somewhere. I got to raise my family, et cetera, et cetera. I can't do it. So they're just staying there. In some cases, they have businesses there, and they'll
So
move
a
to
lot of people you're
Vancouver.
saying aren't content.
No.
Even the system that they created
Yeah.
of this
Yeah.
freedom,
Yeah.
they don't feel free.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the truth. You know,
It's a sad note, but that's a fact.
that's why our nation, when we were founded on Bible principles, we're free and
Yeah.
people were
Yeah.
happier.
Yeah,
And
people go to church outside of the area.
yeah.
If you want to. If you want to raise a family, you go outside of the area.
Yeah. Well, you know, we don't have that much
Hey,
time
put it
left,
that way. I'm sorry about
unfortunately. Oh, no, this is
Need
good.
more time.
So, well, Governor, of course, we have,
You got Dennis.
Dennis Richardson.
Yeah, he's a
Great guy.
legislator, and then you got Governor Kitsap, who's the incumbent. But again, he's got some pretty heavy things on the table that, as far as I'm concerned, is the platform. The Columbia River crossing, you know what I mean? They tried to.
Oh, with Dennis?
Yeah, with Kitsap, that's been a failure big time. We got the kids care. You know, and I think we spend too much time talking about Obamacare. It should be called Kids Care. Oregon, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's going to be a lot of money that's going to be spent that taxpayers going to have to spend. Kind of, well, they say something about $100 and some odd million or $30 million just to get out of the system. It blows my mind. That, you know, when you spend so much money, now it's going to cost so much money. So the point I'm making, you got that. You got the education piece, which is major aspect of it.
Guns, too.
You got what's that?
Guns.
And the guns aspect of it.
Dennis Richardson has a great idea for the gun issue. It's to put people that already work in schools that happen to, you know, have their gun handler's permit anyway. Nobody will know who they are, but they just have a certain amount that will carry their gun in the school that work there. And so anybody tries to pull anything, you know, you got the people right there to help. You don't have to wait for the cops to come. Great idea.
It's really a sad note, you know. I haven't been in the Marine Corps, and I've got a lot of respect for the weapons, if you will.
Yeah.
But it's really a sad note that we've gotten to this point that a person has to carry a gun to protect themselves in our country.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really a sad note, and all due respect, it's kind of like it's a plus for the D's in the Portland metropolitan area. See, because it's such a liberal kind of a situation that they use that against Republicans.
Yeah.
But with no due respect, you're just talking about safety. That's all. You just want to make sure that your child is safe in school. You know, so now all of a sudden we're in the proliferation aspect of it.
It's to protect society from the
Yes.
government. And as soon as the government can take away our guns, you're going to see Obama just more on a rampage than he's already been on. I mean, you want to talk about something scary, it's America going against Obama without guns. Scary, very scary. County commissioner?
County commissioner, well, like I said, in the county is in all due respect, they have been kind of the focal point for the whole issue of gay, whether it be gay marriage or pushing the gay initiative. I mean, people are just coming in the state like
They're just
flies.
obsessed with this
Yeah, that's just
conversation.
That's just the way it is. You can't run unless you're in that kind of area. That's why I ran, so to speak.
Because you were the only
they didn't want to talk about the issues
pro-family.
of seniors and vets and the
People are-
education of their kids. They didn't want. It's the gay issue. That's where it's
Yeah,
at.
are you gay?
Bottom
Are
line.
you want to you want to support gay? You want to
Yeah.
support
And you got a lot of
smoking pot,
Republicans-
free
yeah.
free
And you got a lot of
pot money?
Republicans that
and-
are scared to come out the house.
Yeah.
They
You know,
can't
yeah.
even vote.
Yeah.
They're thinking maybe they voted for me during that particular
So
time.
is-
Someone would know.
So is there any county commissioner that you would recommend? That at least is no.
Well, it's right up front with you. Me, I would have been the guy. In fact, the person I was running against got 51% of the vote, so there's no general election. But I was almost thinking about doing a write-in. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Just to keep the issue on the table, because
Sure, yeah,
my
yeah.
issues were never discussed.
Yeah.
Senior citizen issues weren't discussed. The Columbia River crossing, the education issues. You know what I'm saying? So no, we don't have any.
People are trading their freedoms for sin.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
people can stop and think about that, people are trading their freedoms for sin. And so the more sin there is, and they're allowed to sin, you know.
It's a sad state. I
yeah.
mean, Portland's in a sad state.
Yeah.
Like I said, anybody that I know that's conservative are really just staying there. They're not living there.
Okay, I don't know the ballot measures, but you said marijuana.
I'd say no.
No. Okay, anything else?
Well-
Oh, the art tax.
The art tech, oh, yes.
That's already happened.
Yeah,
Are
that's
they-
happening. They need to bring that back to the table, because a lot of people didn't know what was going on.
Okay. People aren't happy with it?
No, they're not
Now they
happy with
can
that
actually
at
see
all.
it. Okay,
Yeah,
and
very much
anything
so.
else that you want to talk about?
Well, other than the fact that we've got a number of, we got the issue with nonprofits aspect of it. That's another issue that I think that we need to look at. Too many people are just using them. Just to
Community
scam.
organizing. Wow,
Yeah.
we need another show just to talk about
Yeah,
community.
that's a
The
mess.
community organizing that kind of came out of Chicago.
That's
They're
major
using
stuff.
that
Oh,
to
yes.
rob the.
That's major
Yeah,
stuff.
okay.
That's major stuff.
Is there a yes or no on that?
Yeah, that would say a no. There's a yes on doing something about
Okay.
the whole issue of the nonprofits piece.
Okay, we need to have you on the show when
Yeah,
it
so we
gets
can talk
closer
about
to
some other
time, so we
goods,
can
yeah.
just kind of hit each point again,
Yeah,
so towards the
right,
end.
right.
Okay.